What's up everyone? My name is Brandon and I'm super excited because today we are starting a brand new series called Be Humble. And it's all about what it looks like for us to reflect Jesus' humility and confidence. Now before we go on, let's just make sure we're on the same page when it comes to those two words, humility and confidence. What do they mean to you? Take a second and tell the person next to you what those two words mean to you. Now first, humility just simply means freedom from pridefulness or arrogance. And confidence is all about being certain of yourself or something else. Now when it comes to being humble, maybe you find yourself more familiar with what it actually means to be humble. I think we've all been humbled more than we'd like to admit, and I know that's true for me. Let me tell you about a time when I was overconfident and got humbled real quick. And to do that, I gotta take you back. So let me take you all the way back to 6th grade. Now, I may have just been the greatest 6th grade basketball player of all time. I don't wanna brag. I knew at least I was the greatest hooper in my school. And I mean, everybody on that playground was getting cooked, man. Nobody could guard me. I was him. I even wore a different NBA jersey to school every day because I knew I was going to the NBA. And then I got my chance to prove it. For Christmas, I got tickets to see my favorite player and team, Kobe Bryant, and the Los Angeles Lakers play LeBron James and the Cleveland Cavaliers. And the game was awesome.
Bryant for the win! No good!
The Cavs won by 1 point, but Kobe had 38 points, blah, blah, blah. Those details aren't important because the real show was happening after the game. See, every kid that was in attendance in that game got a chance to go on that NBA court after the game and shoot one free throw. And I thought, this is my chance. The stadium is packed. There's probably NBA scouts in the arena watching. Hey, who am I kidding? Kobe and LeBron are probably watching me. So I step up to the line, and this is a free throw, man. I don't miss, okay? I'm about to cash out. They call them free for a reason. This is easy money. So I call for the ball, grab the ball, took a breath, and let it fly. And bricked that thing. I mean, I missed completely, and in one shot, my NBA hoop dreams were crushed, and so was my pride. I was humbled. And maybe you can relate. Maybe you can think of a time where you were overconfident and you got humbled real quick. Maybe you're like me and sometimes you believe to get to where you want to go or to get to where you want to be in life, you need to at least be a little prideful to start. Now let's be clear. I just want to make something very clear at the beginning. Taking pride in something is very different than being prideful. You and I should take pride in stuff we do. Whether that's relationships or schoolwork or playing an instrument, or maybe it was a sport like me, taking pride in something simply means you value it. Now being prideful, now that's next level. Being prideful is when you feel like you need to be arrogant or feel like you need to be better than everyone else and you want everyone to know it. Have you ever felt yourself acting that way? Or maybe you know somebody like that. Now do not point at them if they're in the room right now. That would not be very humble of you and kind of defeats the whole purpose. But I get it. There's no shame. We've all been there, and I think that's because we get messages like this from the world around us on the regular. Messages like win at all costs, use other people to get to where you want to go, destroy your competition, be the best. I love you, Kobe, but Mamba mentality. That's what we think we have to do in order to get to where we want to go in life. But there's got to be another way, right? Well, I got good news right here today in Collide. There is another way.
Yes.
But before I tell you what it is, let me just give you a quick warning. This other way, this better way, isn't actually easy. In fact, it goes directly against everything we just learned about when it comes to reaching our goals in this world. And to get started, we're going to look at a letter written by James, not LeBron. Okay, that was earlier, totally different James now. This is actually Jesus's very own brother, James. So let's jump in James chapter 4, verse 6. It says this: God opposes the proud, but gives grace to the humble. So humble yourselves before God. Come close to God, and God will come close to you. James' message here is the exact opposite of what society has been telling us our whole lives. Society says putting others before yourself will lead to failure. God says putting others before yourself will lead to successful relationships and a full life. Society says pursue your own desires, and God says submit to me and I will lead you into an abundant life. LeBron says strive for greatness, and God says resist striving and you'll find peace. Sounds pretty good, right? While it's definitely the way I want to live, I can find myself looking at this and just thinking okay, but how do I actually do this? How do I resist what society's constantly saying and instead follow and trust God? Well, a few verses later, James actually lands with this. And in verse 10, he says, humble yourselves before the Lord, and he will lift you up in honor. This is how we do it, by humbling ourselves before God and trusting that God will lift us up and help us when we do. Remember, humility just means freedom from pridefulness or arrogance. So when we humble ourselves, it means we get rid of pridefulness and arrogance. We humble ourselves before God and trust God to do the rest. So what does this actually mean for you as a middle schooler right now? Well, I think humbling yourself can actually look like just apologizing when you're wrong, or not arguing even when you know you're right, or supporting someone else who has a better test score than you. What happens when we choose to live this way, when we choose to be humble? Well, as James said, God will lift us up and God will provide, and that is something that we can be confident in. In fact, I think that's what we can take away from James' words today, is be confident and be humble. We should be confident in the gifts and skills that God gave you and me, and he has a plan that you can trust. And what a wise man once told me is that kind of confidence is known as Godfidence. Not confidence in yourself or your own ability, but confidence in what God has put in you and what he can do through you. So remember, be confident, be humble. And imagine how your life might change if you chose to live with humility and confidence rather than taking society's path to success. If you could just let go of what the world says you have to do in order to win, or if you could celebrate your gifts with confidence instead of arrogance, I think you'd be surprised at just how much things might change for you if you chose to be confident and be humble. Now, as you head to small group now, I just want you to think of one question. Who do you know that demonstrates what it looks like to be confident and to be humble?